I think the next logical question is, why have we chosen Railway App as our platform as a service provider for this course? Because there are many other options out there. You've got the big providers like AWS, GCP, Microsoft Azure. They all have their own platform as a service equivalent, like Elastic Beanstalk in the case of AWS, or Azure App Service in the case of Azure. However, the downside with those is that you've got to enter your credit card, and if you accidentally scale out your app a lot, potentially you could get billed. So as a sort of gentle entry into deployments, a platform as a service with a free tier is attractive for learning, and that's why we start off with that, although we will look at AWS later in the course. Now, historically, we've always used Heroku, and they're the sort of OG of platform as a service. But since they were acquired by Salesforce, they've gradually lost their soul, I would say, and they no longer offer a free tier, and the support has got a lot worse, and they've had some security breaches, so they're no longer really suitable for learning, because I think it's important for students to not have to get out their credit card when they're just trying things out. There are other options out there like Detta and Vercel. I've tried both of these with our particular application, and on the free tier they both complain about the size of the dependencies. Things like scikit-learn, SciPy, these are fairly chunky dependencies, and the free tier just couldn't handle them when I was testing them out, so it was time to move on from them. It was a similar story with DigitalOcean's app platform, and Python Anywhere is actually a really great platform as a service provider who I've used quite a bit in the past, but unfortunately they don't support ASCII, which is required for FastAPI. So if you're using Django or Flask, then Python Anywhere would be a good shout. But for us here, then Railway was a good option. And just to kind of summarize the advantages that it's got, so nice and easy to use. You get 500 hours for free when you're on the initial free tier, and that's with no credit card, and so no risk of accidentally giving yourself a big bill. It can support these large dependencies that we've got in our application, from SciPy, scikit-learn, etc. There's a convenient command line interface, so we can run CLI commands in our CI pipelines, and we're going to look at that. It also works with Docker images, so Docker files, which is something that we also want to explore, although it won't work with Docker Compose. And if you're not familiar about the distinction between those two, don't worry. The main thing to understand is that it's going to give us the ability to explore some different deployment options. It's got a good GitHub integration. We're going to look at that a little bit, but it's nice to have the option. And yeah, basically in summary, I tried out quite a few alternatives to Heroku, and it kind of made me appreciate how good Heroku was. I'm very sad that Salesforce has gutted it. From what I can tell, from having poked around at quite a few different options, Railway seems to be the best of the bunch, and so that's what we will use. Alright, next up we'll have a look at actually getting started and exploring how to use Railway.